Hi, I'm Jessica Lyons, cybersecurity editor at the Register. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm talking with Crystal Morin. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, thanks for having me, Jessica.
Oh, thanks for being here. So, Crystal is a former Air Force intel officer and a current threat analyst with Sysdig, and we are talking about cyber warfare today. Always exciting topics. We've seen this actually play out in real life over the past couple of years. It's not just a theoretical threat anymore with the wars in Ukraine and Palestine. And then recently, we've seen the U.S. intel agencies released this report, the no longer confidential report, about how our adversaries are developing their cyber warfare tactics and what the threats are. So, Crystal, looking at this report and with your personal experience in the field, I'm curious, what are you seeing in terms of different adversaries' warfare tactics, and what would you say which country would you say poses the greatest threat and most immediate threat to the U.S.?
Yeah, so what we're seeing right now, Jessica, is that the US's greatest adversaries are all pretty much lying in wait and staying strategic as far as their cyber capabilities. We haven't seen any terribly impactful cyber warfare efforts yet, although there are some indications of it in Israel, Palestine, Russia, and Ukraine. Of our adversaries, though, I would think that China is going to be our greatest cyber threat. They're technologically advanced, they're an innovative country, and they have been for many years. Their cyber warfare strategy is just that. It is strategic. They are prepared to strike if the need arises, but in my opinion, they are not looking to inflict pain or damage as of right now. China's cyber efforts rely more on collecting intelligence on their adversaries and just preparing themselves for attack if need be. I do not think that China would be the first U.S. adversary to launch a damaging cyber attack against the United States either.
So what about Russia? What are you seeing from Russia?
So Russia is another incredibly capable cyber power. They've been a U.S. adversary on and off, up and down for a very long time as well. They have been proving themselves recently as cyber capable in their war against Ukraine. They've been a little more keen than China on showing their hands. We do often see reports of Russian APTs launching attacks on various entities across the globe. But they too do like to lie in wait. I think they are much more capable than they're letting on right now. Obviously, they don't want to show all of their cards. They also like to poke at the US, but lie in wait so they can strike if need be. In my opinion, I think that Russia's goal with a larger scale cyber attack would be some kind of mutually assured destruction, something similar to like Cold War efforts with all-out warfare.
Right. And hopefully we don't get to that point. That isn't a very appealing thought. And Crystal, you and I, we've spoken about this before, and you have some particular concerns about Iran and their capabilities and willingness to use them. So let's talk a little bit about what you see from that country.
Yeah. So for Iran, I feel like they're kind of one of the black sheep of the United States adversarial landscape. They're not really shy about their malicious disposition towards the U.S. We know they don't really like us. And they're also not as quiet with what they're capable of. They do tend to poke at the United States quite a bit with their cyber capabilities. We do see them launching attacks against like our water infrastructure, which is critical infrastructure and a little more common coming from them than from other adversaries that we have. In my opinion, I think that a destructive cyber attack against the United States would come from them before someone else.
And why is that?
Like I said, I think it's just their disdain. We've always had issues with Iran. Political strategies have never really aligned. And they might be more... Okay, hold on. We'll go back and I'll start again with that answer. Okay. All right. Like I said, Iran is posed to attack the US. They don't really like us. We do know that they are capable of infiltrating our critical infrastructure. So those are just a couple of reasons that I could see a more impactful attack coming from them first before someone else. They're not terribly concerned with strategic cyber capabilities. And in my opinion, they're the ones that would be more willing to inflict damage on the US.
And seems recent, in light of recent attacks too, a little more willing to claim responsibility for that too, and take credit for any pain that's inflicted. Yes. What about North Korea,
exactly.
though? We hear about North Korea and some of their more financially motivated cyber crimes, and how that is often used to fund things like their nuclear program and their fighting kinetic warfare capabilities. But do you see much of an actual cyber warfare threat coming from North Korea?
I kind of like to bucket North Korean APTs alongside Iranian APTs. They're a little bit of, again, like a black sheep in our adversarial landscape. I'm not terribly concerned about cyber warfare with North Korea. Like you said, what we've been seeing in the news, and there's actually been a lot of reporting recently on North Korea, which is a little out of the norm from what we've seen in the past, but they are positioning themselves for financial gain. They're putting themselves first rather than global political strategies. So I think that they'll continue to support themselves and their needs first before trying to attempt any kind of cyber warfare against an adversary of theirs.
Right. And so obviously, we've talked about what our adversaries are doing. They're not alone. Western governments are doing some similar things. What can you tell me about how is the U.S. prepared? What are we doing in terms of offensive capabilities here?
So I can glean some opinion and share those with you based on what's in public sources. Obviously, I don't have direct access to U.S. offensive cybersecurity strategies, but there are some news articles that we can reference that'll give us an idea of what the U.S. is capable of and kind of where our strategy aligns. Dating back several years, this, I want to say, in my opinion, was the most significant tell of U.S. capabilities. In 2017, a group called Shadow Broker leaked tools, exploits, and strategic intelligence that allegedly was from NSA. They said that this was collected from 2013. So now this is, 11 years back. But you can go back and look up the details of those findings, and it'll give you some inclination of the offensive capabilities of NSA specifically. Another instance that we could look into, the former director of NSA and the commander of Cybercom, General Nakatone, in mid-2022, he did say that the U.S. was conducting cyber operations in support of Ukraine, so either against Russian APTs or it could have just been cyber criminals that were supporting Russia in those early stages, because we know there was a lot of convoluted efforts early on in that war. So that's one instance. And then quite frequently now we also see the Department of Justice, or specifically FBI, claiming disruptions and dismantling of cyber operations against adversarial groups, ransomware, and criminals. So all of those examples kind of give us an idea that, yes, the U.S. is very cyber capable. If our adversaries are, and we think that there are concerns that they could disrupt our critical infrastructure, then I'm very confident that we could do the same to them. If we are able to take down a ransomware group, then we should be able to infiltrate government networks as well.
Right. Definitely. One thing we haven't really talked about yet is the role that AI plays in all of this. We're seeing all of these countries and the U.S. Building up our capabilities in terms of AI. How do you see this playing into various cyber warfare tactics now and in the future?
Yeah, so we're hearing a lot about AI right now in use. We see that cyber criminals, lower level gangs are using AI. They're speeding up their attack timelines. They're improving the success rates of spear phishing campaigns. And then they're also using AI to improve their defensive capabilities, defense evasions that are not found when they're sitting in a network. day to day, we're also seeing manufacturing companies, hospitals, fast food chains, financial institutions are all using this to improve customer service. Security vendors such as Sysdig, we're all trying to help our customers improve their defense capabilities against cyber attacks, and be able to improve detection techniques using AI capabilities. So, of course, we've seen a little bit now, too, that nation states are using AI capabilities as well to improve offensive and defensive postures.
And it seems, at this point, though, it seems we're still, no worries. So it seems we're still a ways off, though, from seeing any attacks that are launched fully automated using AI. Seems to be more misinformation, disinformation, helping write phishing campaigns, like you said, that type of thing. Would you agree with that assessment? Is that a fair view of where?
Yeah, I would agree. That's how we first started seeing cyber attacks come up too. We were first talking about lies, misinformation, phishing attacks, emails from adversaries, and those have all changed and developed over time. So right now, yes, AI is being used at a slightly lower level, but it'll definitely improve and get better over time.
Right. So hopefully we, the defenders, stay one step ahead of our adversaries in that regard too. Well, Crystal, thank you so much. It was great talking with you today, and I appreciate your insights on this.